David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another stay-at-home fountain pen review. Today I have for you a pen from the Italian brand Pineider, and that pen is the Avatar UR Demonstrator. What I'm going to do today is go over the parts and features of this pen, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for. I'll show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. And stay tuned to learn how you can enter to win this very pen, courtesy of the good folks at Pen Chalet who have provided this pen for review and to give away to one of you. The history of the Pineider brand dates back almost 250 years. It was founded by a gentleman by the name of Francesco Pineider, who opened a stationery store in Florence, Italy back in 1774. The company has been producing fountain pens since the late 1800s. A couple of years ago, Dante Del Vecchio, who had previously been with Visconti, was brought onto the company, and his design influence can be seen in Pineider's newer pens ever since his tenure has began. The pen arrives in this box. The Avatar Demonstrator is available in 4 different colors. There is an amber, red wine, sky blue, and clear. And the one that I'll be showing you today is the clear. And here is the pen. This is the Avatar UR Demonstrator. Now, Pineider is fond of naming their pen models after films, with Avatar being one of the highest grossing films of all time. They have another model called the La Grande Bellezza, which is an Italian film, and another model by the name of Full Metal Jacket. They also have several other models which aren't named after films. The colored versions of this pen are translucent, and this clear model here is transparent. All of the models are made with a material they call ultra resin. It's very stiff and extremely durable. There's several videos out there of folks like driving cars over these pens and performing other strength tests like hitting it with a hammer. While I have heard them described to be unbreakable, I wouldn't go that far. Durable, yes. Unbreakable, well, with enough force, just about anything in this world can be broken. Since this pen will be given away, I didn't want to perform any tests which might harm the pen at all. The pen is also assembled with a new technology Pineider is calling glueless. The entire pen is assembled without a single drop of glue being used. Each component slots into the next. You can find videos of Dante Del Vecchio completely disassembling these pens and putting them back together again. Something interesting. Let's take a look at the cap. The end is rounded and bisected by the clip, which wraps around the top. I like how you can see all of the inner workings of this clip with the spring and everything. Then it provides you with a good look at the nib and the section as well. A while back, I reviewed a different version of the Avatar, which was more of a solid color, opaque. On that model, I didn't particularly care for the looks of the pen at the end of the cap, which is a fulcrum for the clip. That pen doesn't bother me here on this transparent model because visually it really blends in well. It looks a little more prominent in this picture, but in person I barely even notice it's there. I do like the arced plume clip. It has a bit of flair that I care for. The cap is straight and it transitions into a wide palladium-plated cap band. On it, it says Pineider, and surrounding the name is the skyline of Florence, including the Duomo as well as the Ponte Vecchio Bridge. There is a short but rather sharp step down to the barrel, which then tapers down at an even angle until you get to the end, which is rounded with palladium-plated metal. The cap is magnetic. I feel it has an appropriate amount of strength to it. On some of the other Pineider models, the magnetic caps are self-centering, meaning that however you orient the cap, the magnet will actually rotate the cap to a particular orientation. But this is not the case with the Avatar. In regard to the magnet, something I see as a positive is this magnet appears to be coated, which is nice. In theory, this should mean that the magnet will be less susceptible to rusting. If I had magnets on other pens rust out on me before, so anything to prevent that is nice. Another thing in regard to the magnet, on the previous version of the Avatar I reviewed, on the interior of the cap there was a thin metal lock ring that actually holds the magnet in place. On the previous version of this pen, the edge of this ring was rather sharp and extended past the edge of the magnet. As I used that pen, I experienced a number of scratches on the metal section and some scuffs on the barrel from posting. As I can see, that issue has been addressed with this model, and that piece no longer extends past the edge of the magnet, and I haven't experienced any scratches or scrapes on the section or the barrel. So it's nice to see that they addressed that issue and made an improvement. Once you remove the cap, underneath we have this number 6 rhodium-plated nib. I like the size of this nib. I feel the number 6 is appropriate for the size of this pen, and I like the unique imprint. It has Pineider stamped on one side, and then on the other side the text is reversed. It's a unique look. And here's a look at the plastic feed. The section is metal and rather slick, but for me personally, I tend to grip my pens close to the end of the section, so this flare here really helps me maintain a solid grip, and I don't feel that my grip is slipping around at all. Now, if you prefer to grip your pens a bit further back on the section, your experience may vary. Pineider has recently changed the section on these pens. They're moving away from the cushion grip, which you'll see pictured on many of the retail sites for these particular pens. The cap does post, and it does post securely, though I do find the edge of the cap to be a little bit sharp when it rubs against my hand, so I prefer to use this pen unposted. And it's plenty long enough for me to do so, and it feels very comfortable and well balanced in my hand. As you can see here through the section, this is a cartridge converter pen. It accepts standard international cartridges, and a converter is provided. Since there are metal parts here in the section, eyedropping this pen would not be advised. While I am fond of clear demonstrator pens, I've never cared for just seeing a standard converter through the barrel. If you can't eyedropper the pen or have it utilize a piston, then maybe pens like this could have a unique converter which has a bit of flair to it, or it would act as an additional design element of the pen, rather than just seeing a typical black converter piston knob in there. The Pineider Avatar UR Demonstrator typically retails for $158, which I feel is a reasonable price for this pen. But if you check this pen out on the Pen Chalet site, they are currently selling it at a 40% discount, bringing the price down to $95, which I feel is an excellent price for what you receive with this pen. If you're looking for a pen under $100, the Avatar Demonstrator would be well worth checking out. I'll put a link in the notes below where you can see it on the Pen Chalet site. And thanks again for Pen Chalet for providing this pen for review and for giveaway. In regard to the giveaway, I was planning on doing another Q&A in the somewhat near future, so in order to enter the contest, all you need to do is be a subscriber to this channel and leave a comment below asking your Q&A question. 72 hours after posting this video, I will randomly select a winner from those commenters who asked questions. I'll reply to your winning comment with instructions on how to claim your prize. So now it is time for some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample. Here we go with some size comparisons for the Pineider Avatar UR Demonstrator. Here it is with another Pineider, which was the La Grande Bellezza. Then here it is with a Lamy 2000 and a Platinum 3776. In regard to some other pens, we have a Leonardo Momento Zero, a Sailor Pro Gear, and a Diplomat Aero. In regard to some uncapped comparisons, here it is with the 3776, the Leonardo Momento Zero, as well as the Lamy 2000. So here we have the Pineider Avatar UR Demonstrator. This is a fine stainless steel nib, and the ink that I'm using today is from 3 Oysters and is EUM, E-U-M. This is what the ink looks like. It's a nice kind of muted red, somewhat similar to the Franklin Christoph Arushi red, or even something like the Monteverde Cherry Danish. This is what the bottle looks like. Like I mentioned, it's a nice kind of muted red ink. And in regard to the rest of the writing sample, there was a bit of a skip there. That was me. I had the nib slightly rotated, so there was no issue with the pen. That was just my own writing. For a fine nib, I do find that you can get a fair amount of a line variation out of here if you press it a little bit. And the ink flow is decent coming out of this fine nib as well. In regard to reverse writing, I find it's a little sharp, but it does get the job done. And in regard to fast writing, I find the feed keeps up just fine. And that for a fine nib, that I don't find this to be too scratchy at all. That it's something that is fairly smooth, and I do care for it a great deal. So there we have the Pineider Avatar UR Demonstrator. I'd highly recommend checking this out on the Pen Chalet site, especially at the discount that they're offering right now. I think that it makes it a very attractive pen. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.